It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
What is going on, YouTube? Good to see you all. Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here, trying to wake up and realizing that the light's not even on. So let's turn that on, make it at least somewhat passable here. Darth Revan is first taking advantage of Thomas Potts' absence as he is exploring Washington, D.C. Commander Iron Wolf, a very quick second, and Anti-Ryan Johnson, I can never pronounce your name, it's Arisaka, John, and Bird of Prey round out the top 5, and so Josh throws a buck into the pot. Thank you so much, Josh, I do appreciate it. And Bird of Prey, no, you were not 6th, you were in fact 4th. So, you know, you got to get that right. And Bird of Prey, you were not 3rd. You were, in fact, 6th. So, just helping you guys with the math a little bit. Josh wants to see more of Mrs. Anti-Checker. You got it. This is the first, for those of you that did not see this last night when it debuted, then this is the first Super Chat reward that was actually written by Mrs. Anti-Checker. So, yeah, there is that.
Blah, 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 S2D is bad, blah, 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 Ray is too perfect to even exist, blah, 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 blah.
And there it is, the truth about what you guys really want, which can't argue. That's just doesn't seem like Mrs. Anti-Checker put a lot of effort into writing. She just looked at what you guys actually do. And why do you sound like Charlie Brown Adults in the New Number 9? You'd have to ask Mrs. Anti-Checker. The next time she's on the show, you'll have to ask her that. Damn it, Darth. Anti-Checker is the tiebreaker. I lost. Yeah, sorry, Commander. I got to go with what I see on my screen. You blame Common Core? Okay. Bird of Prey says, to answer your question from last night, no, I never heard the word geisha before. I had to look it up this morning. Oh, okay. Well, fair enough, Bird. I didn't know, because here's the thing. When you mispronounced it, for those of you that don't know, if you look at Bird of Prey chat number 1, Like a Man Loves a Jeep, in it, Bird of Prey says the word geisha. However, he pronounces it, I believe, geisha. And he had no idea what he was saying, and you could tell he really had no idea what he was saying. But I wasn't sure if he was just a little confused, or if he had like suddenly had a surge of Lore Reloaded's ability to pronounce certain words. So, yeah, I asked that in the stream last night, and I figured he would see that. Oh, the live morning nerd pre-work show. It's hard to catch these days. Sorry, Surf, but I'm glad you're with us today. Rika says, hello, how you doing, Rika? And did you see the movie? No, the movie, if you assume you're talking about Captain Marvel, in the United States, Captain Marvel premieres tomorrow night, and so I'm actually arranging, because since I used all my time off from work already because of the incident with my mother-in-law, so I did a little bit of shift switching around so that I can get off work a couple hours early tomorrow night. Me and Mrs. Anti-Checker are going to go see the film, and then I'll come home just in time to do the live stream. and we'll talk about the film, and if time permits, talk about some STD as well. JP says, good morning, how you doing? Vile Mike says, what's up everyone on a break? Can't stay long, want to say hi. Thank you for dropping by, Vile Mike. That is very nice of you. And Commander, I would have thought that was great. I assume you're talking about the super chat. Well, you make sure you let Mrs. Antricker know that you like her writing there. Why are all the YouTube ads I'm getting this week for Glowforge? I don't know. They come in these little spurts. I had the Glowforge thing going for a while. Sometimes I get what really is annoying is when I get nothing but Star Trek Discovery ads. That's why I pronounce it Geyser, because I knew it was wrong, but brain was trying to make sense of it. That makes sense because Geyser is a real thing, so yeah. Peter says, we've got midnight showings. Well, jerk. You haven't said the great word Alexa. Set alarm 1 a.m. Alexa, call mom today. No, I haven't. Trekker, you got me with the thumbnail. Really? Okay. Attila Battle Angel was awesome. You should watch it instead. I am looking forward to seeing Attila Battle Angel, to be honest with you. That hat triggers seizures. Oh, the hat, yes. This is my official crazy hat now. So, there you go. This is my crazy hat. Hola, Anti-Track here, says Darren. Good to see you. Had some tequila earlier. Uh-oh. Don't freak out, but I'm gracing you in my presence. Well, good to see you, Blackboy923, as always, even though your username seems borderline racist. Ty says, hello, all. B-Unit 1701 says, I get 7 out of 10 from LinkedIn, 2 disco, but the random whatever for the 10th. Not sure what you mean, B-Unit. Attila looked good, but the eyes creep me out. Actually, the eyes don't creep me out. I think Attila looks interesting. I didn't know if it was going to be any good because it's an unknown property, but I'm looking forward to it. The Irish is strong with this one. Yes, this is, that's why, it is March. So, Darth Revan says, Alexa, add butt plug to shopping cart. Wow, Darth. That's just, you're weird. Attila Battle Angel, oh man, that made me see weird things in my head. I remember when I stood outside the old Odeon Anti-Tracker waiting for the Phantom Menace just after midnight. I remember that too, except I didn't have to see I remember the midnight lines. I used to go to midnight showings every now and then when a new movie would come out. But and Darren's having an epileptic seizure because of the hat, so I better take it off. I don't want Darren to have a seizure. However, with the Phantom Menace, I actually did not go to a midnight showing because I got to see the Phantom Menace during the world premiere. Me and Mrs. Anti-Tracker had these beautiful engraved tickets, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. Your hat, oh yeah, just read that. It's official. Comic book films are good guy wins crap. More important news, new Game of Thrones trailer dropped. Winter is here. I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan. I like the first season, but except for the last episode. So the fact that they killed Stark at the end of the first season, I was like, okay, I'm done. Alita, not Attila. Yeah, why did I say, I'm sorry, it's Alita, Battle Angel. Did I say I said Attila, didn't I? Wow. I bought a ticket for Junior in order to sneak into a sold-out Star Trek Generations. That's funny. I literally had to scroll the page up so I could see your hat. Oh, okay. So, that's interesting. Does Alita give anyone Amatage? The third flashback? I'm not even sure what you're talking about there, Mike. Oh, the flashing lights. What you do now, Anti-Tracker, instead of breaking your headphones in Captain Caveman mode. Well, it's just, yeah, that's just my crazy hat. I'm going to put that on when I'm feeling when something's going a little stupid. Only 2 films I saw premiere for. FFS. I hate abbreviations. You know I never understand that stuff. John says, Alexa, cancel my Prime membership. So, yes, what you should have said was, Alexa, transfer my Prime membership to the anti-tracker. Anti-tracker was trying to hypnoturd everyone with the hat. That's true, because it is green, you know, trying to get everybody to think, oh, give money. By the way, sent you an audio file on Discord. Thank you, Peter. I will check that out. And I don't know. I don't think it's too bad. Do you? So, Sean Bean dies and water is wet. Yes. But here's the thing. I loved Sean Bean's character in Game of Thrones. And he was the only character. He was the character that I really liked and identified with. And I saw the whole story through his eyes, and then they kill him, and I was like, okay, screw it. I don't care. Rika says, HR, Captain Marvel has one of the most stupid explanations about certain issue in the MCU. Oh, I can't wait. So I assume you have seen it then, Rika. Is it out in where you are? Or did you see it somehow in a less than legal way? TNG Code of Honor was on this morning. I think it's far better than people give it credit. That's only because you're a racist, Vertebrae. Alexa, factory reset. Well, why would you want to do that? One does not simply have a movie without Sean Bean dying. Yes. There are 4 lights. It's a fun St. Patrick's Day hat. Yes, it is. And that's, but I saw that hat and I was like, oh, I got to get me that hat. So sad. Anti-Checker is against Game of Thrones. I'm not against Game of Thrones. If you love Game of Thrones, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't think Game of Thrones is inherently a evil thing or, you know, it hurts people. I just personally couldn't bring myself to watch season 2 because of the way they ended season 1. That's all it is. It would be like if you were watching Star Trek The Next Generation and Captain Picard was the ultimate character to you, and then in Best of Both Worlds, they actually ended up killing him. This is probably why they did not kill him, is some people would say, well, screw it, I'm not watching it without Captain Picard. Yep, it's out in my country. Well, I'm a little jealous of you. So, Rika, a spoiler-free 1-paragraph review, did you think it was, you know, because here's what I believe. I think it's going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be utterly forgettable. That's just based on the trailers. But I want your honest, you know, try not to flower it with anything that is, you know, your own personal bias about, like, if there's any politics or anything like that. But just give me a general, what you thought, whether it was good, average, bad, somewhere in between, one of those. This week, Orville, Gordon is killed off. Don't even joke like that. If they kill Gordon, I am quitting the Orville. Entry, the House of Stark is based on Scottish history. Do you not like Scots when Braveheart was killed? If they did, if Braveheart was a television series and the end of season 1 was William Wallace getting killed, I would still watch season 2 because I liked Robert the Bruce. You see, that's the difference. There was not another character in Game of Thrones for me to look forward to seeing in the next season because everybody that was left I didn't care about. Bullstreak did a video all about Brie Larson's life of privilege and daddy issues in general and maturity. She apparently did a music video when she was 15 and is the mother of all cringe. Well, here's the thing. I don't care about any of that, Darren. I really don't. And I've tried to say this a few times. She is a Hollywood actress. Therefore, she is a nut job. All right. So I don't care about her personal opinions. I don't care about her SJW-ness. I don't care about what kind of project she's been involved with. Because you know what? Michael Keaton was Mr. Mom before he was Batman. And when I heard Mr. Mom was going to be Batman, I was like, screw that. I don't want anything to do with it. Then I saw it and it was freaking awesome. So I want to, you know, so I don't care about her past projects. I don't care, you know, about her personal opinions. I just want to see if it's a good movie. Sean Bean is clearly a Time Lord with extra lives. Must be. Andy Checker is a throne-ophobic. No, I'm not afraid of Game of Thrones. I just wasn't interested. Alexa, read War and Peace in German. Well, that's an interesting one. Bird of Prey will 5 will be official Game of Thrones channel come April. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You can get all your all of your Game of Thrones play-by-plays from Bird of Prey. I look forward to it. House of Stark is Iron Man lore. Yes, that is very true. Pure boredom. Flashbacks which don't help with the general backstory. Nothing which adds to the MCU lore. Only Nick Fury's lost eye explanation. So you basically found it unnecessary and boring. But would you say that... Now, boring... For example, you can see a movie that's boring and give it a 5 out of 10. Right? Because it just didn't do anything to elevate itself. Or you could say it was boring and give it a 1 out of 10 because you felt it was offensive. So where would you put it? Antrekker hates Jon Snow. I didn't... No. Afternoon, Anti-Trekker. Or, sorry, it's Dr. Alex. Afternoon, Anti-Trekker. Both my microphones have simultaneously died, so my voice will be absent from YouTube until new ones arrive. Well, good! I'm very glad to hear that, Dr. Alex, because your voice is... I just immediately become envious whenever you speak. Brie Larson is no Batman. No argument there. Seriously, watch the music video. Brie Larson, she said, do eat now. I'm not going to watch it now because I don't want to get another copyright strike on one of my live streams. Because if you get too many copyright strikes on your live streams, they will ban you from streaming. So that ain't going to happen. Anti-Tracker, my offer still stands. If you watch Game of Thrones and hate the last episode, I will pay you 60 euros. You know what, Darth? I probably will do like a live reaction of Game of Thrones and stuff once I get the VMO account set up. Because that would be something that I think would be fun to do that there. Captain Braxton in Voyager's episode Relativity was arrested for crimes he would commit in the future. Is that right or wrong? Is it right to go back in time and kill a child Hitler? Well, I'd have to rewatch the episode because I can't... Was he arrested for crimes that he would commit, or was he arrested for crimes that he committed but then went back in time? Alexa, add the Korean to my shopping cart? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, break over. Have a wonderful day, all. Take care, Vile Mike. I would think that Fury would get info about the snap. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the Fury thing ties into it. Alexa, donate $1,000 to the Anti-Trekker. Oops, sorry, I mispronounced that last thing, Hector. What was that? John says, I already have it for Kindle. The Book of Mormon 2. Not sure what John will see. What that was for. Well, major ones. Well, Trekker was a White Walker, confirmed. Okay. Do eat la. What? Are you okay, Darren? I think that you really did have a seizure after seeing my hat. Alexa, add Brie Larson's She Said CD to my wish list. You should start first season. Well, I've seen first season, but if I start doing that, Darth, I probably will rewatch it because I don't remember much about it. I haven't seen it since it originally aired. Is Dr. Alex the guy that made a video about mailing your Dr. Doom mask to the UK for $1,000 via UPS? Yes, although it wasn't $1,000, but yes. The punishment should come after the crime, just like Captain America said. Well, I agree, but that's why I don't remember how it went down in that episode. Oh, Quran! That's what you said. I don't know why I saw it as Korean. Wow, you're right. I blew that. My bad. But at least I didn't say Giza. Anti-Trekker, sad fact, World War II would have happened even without Hitler, but have a new face, it was more than Hitler. Well, yeah, I tend to agree. But I think that there was a certain level of sadism that came out of Germany that was inspired by Hitler. Give him hell, bird. Geisha my ass. Okay. Wow, you guys are weird. It's, yes, a future version of Captain Braxton went back in time to try and destroy Voyager. So, see, it's a tough one. Because, I mean, because obviously, when you're talking about convicting someone of a crime they have not yet committed, is that something that you can do? The answer to that is clearly yes. If the answer to that was no, there would be no such thing as the charge attempted murder or conspiracy to commit murder. It is illegal to plot to kill someone, right? It is illegal to try and fail to kill someone. So, yes, you can be arrested, tried, and convicted for crimes you did not yet commit. Which is one of the reasons that, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the name of the movie, the Tom Cruise movie with the Future Crime Division and the balls that put the names on it, and for some reason I'm completely spacing the name, but we all know the movie I'm talking about. I'm sure 8 of you are going to put in the name any second now, because I know it's a Steven Spielberg film, but Minority Report, thank you, Neil, was first with that. So, but as Minority Report, one of the dumbest things about Minority Report is the charge of future murder. That's the wrong charge. The charge was attempted murder. And so that's, and that is a real thing. All right. And so, yeah. And checker, I got Ben and Jerry's yesterday in my shopping online. They replaced a flavor they didn't have with a vegan flavor, and racist pot soy makes me sad. Well, I'm sorry. I don't like Ben and Jerry's very much, so, but I'm sorry to hear that. Well, technically, planning the murder is a crime that you committed, so you're still going to jail for a crime that you committed, Anti-Trigger. Well, if you're going to say that, then Captain Braxton thinking about, planning to destroy Voyager in the future is still a crime. It's conspiracy. 8-ball report to play pool with suspects. Okay. If you go back in time to kill Hitler, then there would be no reason to go back in time to kill him because he would no longer exist. That's very true, and that's one of that's just a variant of the grandfather paradox, and that is one of the reasons that I do believe that time travel is in fact impossible. I do not think that time travel is possible. I think it is an impossibility. Jeremy Johns described Captain Marvel's the MCU's Star Trek Insurrection. I saw that. I've never seen Insurrection, but how's that movie regarded in the fandom? Well, Insurrection is what Jeremy Johns was basically saying is that the movie just doesn't do much, right? In Jeremy Johns' review, he basically just kind of describes the movie as, "Nah." And Insurrection, a lot of people walked out of that movie thinking, well, that was pointless. And so I think that's really where Jeremy Johns was coming from. Tiki of Doom says Top Gun. Okay. Bird says he presumably hadn't thought to destroy Voyager at the time he was arrested. Well, see, that's, I don't know. Like I said, I would have to rewatch the episode, Bird of Prey, because you guys are throwing me facts that I can't confirm in my broken old dusty brain. Alexa, read the script of The Last Jedi. Ooh, that's a cruel one. Wasn't until years later. Well, but if he was planning to destroy a starship, he might have been planning for years. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to have to see it. I can't give an honest opinion here. We'll have to put Braxton on trial. That could be actually a fun thing to do one of these times, is to put Braxton on trial, and we'd have to look at the evidence. Now, I know Lore has done a bunch of put this person on trial videos, but I'm thinking I'm going to actually try it, even though Lore may accuse me of copying him. I think that could be fun. But we don't know if present Braxton had any plans yet. It was purely based on the actions of future Braxton. We are all time traveling. Yes, we are all time traveling at the rate of 1 second per second. Andy Checker, shouldn't Braxton delete his encounter from Voyager or Janeway? Should order it. Well, I'm gonna... I can't, you guys, seriously, stop. I can't comment on it. The discovery of the future Braxton's plans could change the timeline so present Braxton never commits the crime. If time travel is impossible, would FTL be impossible too? Not necessarily. Because FTL goes on a few assumptions that at this point we cannot confirm or deny. And so, not like, for example, if this, and here's the interesting thing. I think that time can be stretched, right? I do think that. I don't think time can be folded over onto itself to go backwards in time. So, for example, the idea that you go further forward in time by accelerating to near the speed of light, that's pretty much established fact. However, the idea then becomes, if light is the ultimate speed limit of everything in the universe, then if you go faster than light, wouldn't you go backwards in time? And I don't think that you can actually demonstrate that. Brie Larson has no ass. Well, there are a lot of women like that, and I feel sorry for those women, and I feel sorry for the men with those women. I like time travel where you can go back and observe things but not change anything. Sort of like the old Superboy comics where he essentially is an invisible ghost. Well, I believe that a form of that is in fact possible if faster than light travel is possible. And I've talked about this before, but it's actually a very, very simple formula. Let's say that you could travel, you could do, we'll do like a Battlestar Galactica jump, an instantaneous jump from one point to another. Now, and that jump, you could make it pretty much any distance. So, if you were to take your Battlestar and you're at Earth, and then you jump to 1 light year away from Earth, and then immediately turn all your scopes back on Earth, you would be observing the Earth from 1 year ago. So now, and this is where I think would be very interesting. Let's say that today we want to prove or disprove whether or not the events of the Bible actually happened. So we could then jump 2,000 light years away and then point all our scopes back at Earth and try to observe the ministry of Christ, right? We could jump another 1,000 or 2,000 light years away and try to observe the events of the Old Testament. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, wait a minute, Anti-Checker, that's all fine and dandy, except for the fact that you're not taking into account that we can't look at, Earth from 2,000 light years away and make out anything because it's way too far away. That's true. However, you're also assuming that by the time we develop that kind of transportation technology, that we have not improved our ability to scan the heavens to where we could observe something from 2,000 light years away. Right now, our best detection equipment can read a newspaper from high orbit. That's pretty damn impressive. However, 100, 200, 300 years from now, who knows how far that technology is going to go. So, but there, I do think that would be interesting. We'd have to be moving faster than light to keep up with the rotation of the Earth. Well, here's the thing, Bird, is that you wouldn't necessarily be trying to orbit the Earth from 2,000 light years away. You would have to, in fact, the best way to do it would be to have probes go in, in 4 different directions to observe the Earth from different directions and then correlate the data. And so, but that, of course, Darren is laughing at that because, he's our resident flat earther. So, but assuming for a minute, Darren, just assuming that the Earth is a rotating sphere, that would make sense. If you could move faster than light, and then all that. Now, you can't read a newspaper from space on a cloudy day or at night. True. With current technology, that is absolutely true. With future technology, who knows? And that's my point. We don't know what, for example, one of the things they do in particular, the most, I think, in the original Star Trek, they do it a little bit in Next Gen, but not nearly as much in the original Star Trek, is what some people refer to as the magic view screen, where Kirk can basically order Sulu to point the view screen at anything and zoom in on it and change the camera angle and do all this weird stuff that you shouldn't be able to do. Now, some people say, well, that's impossible. Well, that depends on what it's using. You're assuming it's just some kind of optical lens looking at something, in which case, yes, that would be impossible. However, if it is in fact some kind of sensing technology that picks up the light that's out there and then adjusts it so that on the view screen you can see it from any perspective, why not? Hopefully, the future technology will grant Brie Larson an ass. One can only hope. Poor Brie. I think we need to start a fund to help get Brie Larson ass implants. Although I do think that looking at some of the pictures that I've seen, I do think that one picture people like to use of Brie Larson with her saggy butt costume was photoshopped. I don't know that it was or wasn't, but it looks like it was to me. I don't think a few unscattered photons you will find 2,000 light years away will let you see anything smaller than a few kilometers wide. I disagree, Hector, but you and I will probably not live long enough to know one way or the other. And checker, you would have to decipher the light that traveled 2,000 light years, and it might be impossible because it would be so degraded. That's why you would also do several perspectives. So if you made a network of satellites, let's say you made 1,000 satellites that all went out in different directions and then took pictures, and then you correlated that data, you could create a three-dimensional image of what was going on Earth at the time. Assuming that we could see through cloud cover, if there was cloud cover, and that kind of thing, which we don't know. As far as seeing at night, it wouldn't be that hard if it can detect up the most minute amounts of infrared, because then you could see the heat signatures of people. Once you see Brie Larson's She Said video, you cannot unsee it. Man, Darren is like obsessed with that video. All right, so I'll tell you, let me see. I'm turning down the volume. Brie Larson, She Said radio ad. Well, it's got over 1 million views. That's pretty impressive. Looks like just some typical blondes. Yeah, it just looks stupid to me. Yeah, that's just stupid. I mean, it's not as bad as that stupid Friday song that What's-Her-Name did. Alex, wouldn't what Anti-Checker proposed break what we know of quantum mechanics? If you can observe something that previously unobserved, wouldn't that change history? I don't believe so, because observing an individual particle disturbs that particle, but that wouldn't change where the particle came from. Anti-Checker, if you could, would you go back in a Celtic disguise, and would you meet Jesus even if you didn't speak Aramaic, say even shake his hand or be in the crowd at the loaves of fishes? If I could, yeah, why not? That would be really cool. And I bring a tape recorder so I could translate the Aramaic later. I thought of commenting on all this speed of light's time travel stuff, but my thumbs would wear out. I understand, Doctor. You are, and you know what? Honestly, and I'm being absolutely serious here. Let me digress for just a moment, guys. Dr. Alex, because Darren and I have been talking about one of these days we're going to do a interview style thing about the flat Earth perspective. Would you be willing to have an in-depth conversation on some of these topics, talking about sci-fi tropes, sci-fi technology that we see a lot of the times, and then, well, what does the real science say about that? Is that possible? Because, yeah, we've seen some people do it, but usually it's just from the perspective of trying to, make it sound like anything is possible. But I'm just curious, would you be willing to do that, Doctor? Josh throws another buck into the hat. Thank you so much, Josh. And Mrs. Anti-Checker for Dr. Alex to see. Yeah, if you haven't seen this one yet, Dr. Alex, so this is the very first Super Chat reward that was written by Mrs. Anti-Checker and features Mrs. Anti-Checker, at least as close to you seeing Mrs. Anti-Checker that you will ever see.
Blah blah blah, S2D is bad, blah blah blah, Ray is too perfect to even exist, blah 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 blah.
And there it is. that's how it goes down. Dr. Alex says, sure, let's organize a time. We absolutely need to do that. I'll tell you what. I'll send you a message. I don't know, are you registered on antichecker.com yet, Dr. Alex? If you're not, get on there and then we'll communicate via there. That didn't quite sound right. Antichecker, what if you could look back 2,000 light years and Jesus was a humperdew? Well, not knowing what a humperdew is, I don't know how I would react. Oz of Sweden, hi, Antichecker, hope you are well. What is the name of the theme you are playing at the beginning of your streams? The one you also played during the Hypnoturd? That is actually called Snowflake. Oh gosh, it's Snowflake something. But that's where it was kind of funny, because it was when the term snowflake was becoming really popular. I found that song. Acoustic Snowflake, that's the name of it. Acoustic Snowflake. And so it's a wonderful little ditty that just perfectly puts together the idea of snowflakeism. So here you go. If it'll ever start. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. There we are. Acoustic Snowflake is a happy, loving, fun song. It's not threatening in any way, because Acoustic Snowflake is a song of love, a song of caring, a song that is safe for you and for me. So yes, Dr. Alex says, of course I'm registered. Do you want someone who's knowledgeable about science to join in Antichecker on the flat earth debate? Not necessarily, because you see, when Darren and I talk about the flat earth, I want to give him a fair shake, okay? And I don't think that, I understand that there are a lot of people that will argue about the scientific stuff behind it, but I want to give Darren a chance to argue his side before we bring in a counter argument. And maybe we'll do that in a future installment if the Darren and my first video on the subject does well and it warrants doing more. Humperdew is the Decade? What? Now you guys are just confusing me. And Iron Wolf wants me to check Discord because, of course, he does. That is interesting. Is that Iron Wolf? Are you trying to say that that is Bree, or is that you? I'm a little confused. What am I looking at there? So for those of you that are like, what the heck is he talking about? Let me see. Here is what Iron Wolf sent me. So yeah, that's, yeah. So what was that, Iron Wolf? I'm lost. Be prepared to see the last 30 years of Middle East footage, because 2019 years is an approximate. Well, yeah, I know, but yes. Is the Alexa special going to be a 40-hour, 17-part live stream event? Probably not. And by the way, good to see you, Nerderotic, as always. One thing that number 9 is missing. Mrs. Antichecker saying, ooh, hit the like button. You're right. I'm going to talk to her about that. We need something where she says that. That would be good. And we just lost the stream. Yeah, I know. It always dies whenever, yeah. I didn't hit the button. It just does that. I think it's this computer. Antichecker, I know now that Thanos will be defeated by Bree going Lynn Minami on him. I don't know who that is. Her singing is the equivalent of the opening of the Ark of the Covenant. Can't argue with that. Whoa, did the stream, let's see. I'm way behind on the comments. Let me try to get caught up. You guys are going crazy on me. Mariah says, I know now that Thanos will be defeated. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Bird of Prey is back. John says, there it is. Alex says, whoa, stream died because of saying snowflake. Yes. Stupid snowflakes ruin everything. Just loving it. Hail, Nerdrotic. Antichecker, just remember there's a different time zones around the world, and Terry Pratchett's Discworld is make-believe. Well, I don't know anything about Terry Pratchett's Discworld, but yeah, I get what you're saying, but that's something for Darren to talk about, not me. Oz of Sweden says, it makes me horny. If you're talking about that butt, then doesn't take much for you then, I guess, in more ways than one. Hold my hands, let go of land to a land of love. hold my hands. Let's go to a land of love. Oh, yeah, that would be Bird of Prey singing. You've turned to K-porn, broadcasting sleazy, slutty music all morning long. Okay. And now we know the secret lyrics for the acoustic snowflake. Yes. Crap. At Jim again. Humperdew is a descendant of Jesus in the Preacher comic. May kiss you off as a Christian. May kiss you off as a Christian. Well, first of all, I don't know the Preacher comic. You are the comic book expert, Nerdrotic, not me. I have about, between 5,000 and 10,000 comics, but I've never read Preacher. I've seen the movie, but I don't know anything about the comic. I assume it's related to that movie. Now I can't remember yeah. How can people still argue about flat Earth? Because people can argue about anything. It's all right. Thanks for your arousing voice. It makes the melody even better. I certainly wouldn't call my voice arousing, but thank you. Read that as acoustic snowflake. Read what as acoustic snowflake? So you got to tell me to read it as acoustic snowflake before, not after. That's Bree. That is Bree? Wow. Then maybe that picture was not photoshopped, if that is what Bree actually looks like. Greetings, society. And where did you find a picture of Bree like that? Or is that from a movie or something? Hail, I can't type and run at the same time. That's all right. That's all right, Nerdrotic. I'm glad that you're with us, as always. Why would people lie about the Earth being round? What do they have to gain? I don't know. That's a question not for me, but when we get to... and in fact, what we're going to do is... this is something that we've been planning on doing for a while. And so I'm going to... we're going to have a section on the website for people to put in questions to put to a flat earther. Because rather than, and I'm not going to put anything that's insulting, okay? So I understand that a lot of you people will think that, wow, a flat earther in the 21st century, how's that even possible? But that doesn't mean you have to be demeaning or insulting. So we're going to be respectful about it. Hector says, and now demonetized, that counts as nudity? I don't know if that counts as nudity or not, but I'm sure that I'm probably demonetized at this point. Nerdrotic, type or run faster? Well, that's a good question. I wish I could run. I'm jealous of you, Nerdrotic. I don't have good knees. I can't run even if I wanted to. And Gary started running. And, of course, Bird of Prey is also jealous because he can't even get out of bed. Ha ha! At least I got that on you. I can, look, hey, ha ha, I can get up. That's, I know, that was mean. Gary is at the Subway getting extra meat and cheese and calling Uber. John throws a couple of bucks in and says, can we get Mrs. Antricker reading some Alexa commands? Ooh, that would be an interesting one. That's not bad, John. And thank you so much for the $2. I do appreciate it. And wants to see number 13, everybody's favorite. So we went from some moldy brie, ba-dum-bump, to this.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
And Brian says, hi-dee-ho, everybody. Lynn Minami is a really annoying character on the Robotech anime who's basically saying an alien invasion into submission. That sounds weird. Nerdrotic, piss you off. It's a show on AMC. Okay. Well, I did not know that, Nerdrotic. Dr. Alex throws 5 pounds in and says, my wallet is demothed. So, the Doc Turd, please, just reached the Gotham episode where Adam West Batman theme played and we get a TAS blimp. You know what? I actually haven't been keeping up with Gotham this year, but because it kind of became, honestly, I got a little frustrated with the fact that Bruce Wayne, the way they handled that character, Gotham overall is not a bad show, but the way they dealt with Bruce Wayne was all wrong in my humble opinion. And Nerdrotic would probably have more to say on that than me, but to me, having these fully fledged villains with a 13-year-old Bruce Wayne makes no sense whatsoever. But in the meantime, just for you, Dr. Alex. There it is. Whoo-wee. You can find anything on the internet. That's true. Hey, Anti-Tricker, enjoyed animation number 9 the other night. Way to go, Mrs. Anti-Tricker and Joshua. Yeah, that was actually, I got to say, they caught me off guard. I didn't know they were making that. There was a secret plot that Mrs. Anti-Tricker did. Heim Purdue clones are loose public service warning flat earth on the Matrix. Okay. Flat earth, shadows, Anti-Tricker, shadows. Again, you're confusing me. I'm easily confused. Cats already proved the earth is round, or they would have knocked everything off. That's a compelling argument, Darren. You're gonna have to work on that one. Why haven't the cats knocked everything off the edge of the earth? It's her, and it's a movie called The Trouble with Bliss. Well, here's the, and I haven't seen Trouble with Bliss, but are we absolutely, and so I'm assuming you've seen the film. So let me ask you, are you 100% certain that is not a body double? Do you see her face in this shot? I just read some of the reviews, and even some female reviewers says it's just a meh movie, only giving it about 50%. You know what? I'm telling you, this is going to be interesting to see how it turns out. I'll tell you why in just a minute. Let me try to get a little bit caught up here. Darren, what would have... Oh, that's a question for Darren. So we can't ask questions on Steve Shives' level? No, we're not going to be Steve Shives' dicks. Sorry, not going to work that way. I'm not going to be a condescending jerk. Oh my God, that super chat had a Jeep Grand Cherokee that looks just like the one I had. Really? That's cool. I didn't catch that. Okay, we'll never get a Woody ever after those two. Yeah, that will be a tough one. I gotta admit. But you know, just look on the bright side. And of course now it's all messed up. There you go. There you go. Just take that in. Drink it all in. Yeah, I went off Gotham. I just couldn't keep going with it. Play it again so Bird can get his Jeep porn. Was it in the Bleach one, or let me see. Was there a Jeep in there? Oh yeah, there is. So there you go, Bird of Prey. There it is.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
Well, there we go. So Bird of Prey... So Bird of Prey, this was obviously an old piece of footage, and Bird of Prey had just dropped off lore after having his way with... Oh, man. So now we know exactly what caused Bird of Prey's convalescence. Oh man, poor Bird of Prey. So I'm really sorry. My knee has been awful today. Yeah, I tell you, I have arthritis in my knees. I hate it. Speaking of flat earthers, it was interesting to me the early Interstellar movie that the teacher said the moon landings were early in the Interstellar movie. The teacher said the moon landings were fake. I don't remember that, but okay. Whoa, and now the chat went all nutty, so I'm sorry if I missed your chat because my chat screen just went completely kablooey for a second. Check Mr. Skin for Bree. Not sure what you mean. Was that a picture of Brie you kept referencing? Yes, this is a picture of Brie Larson from a movie. So you can see that is Captain Marvel's butt, or lack thereof. Me Cat thinks the Earth is flat. He could be right. Okay. Unless her face is her butt, I'm going with no. Well, that's the thing. Is that a body double? Not having seen the movie, I don't know, because a lot of celebrities refuse to show any nudity because they think that they are so important that if people actually see their naked bodies, that I don't know, heads will explode or something. But if that is indeed Brie, then what? And chances are, the way most films are shot, she would turn her face around or something to prove it. Bird is getting his Jeep and lore porn in one go. Yeah, well, Bird is in that Jeep, I'm pretty sure. Not 100% sure, but 90% sure it's not a body double. Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to see the movie, and quite frankly, just based on that one image, I have no compelling reason to want to see that movie. I've not been on a live stream for some time. First thing I see is Laura, and now I know I stayed away. Sorry, the life's dyslexic, but good to see you again. My ex-wife's copyright striking. Okay, is your ex-wife Brie Larson? Laura broke Bird of Prey 5. It's absolutely true. Bird, I think it's tied to Meteor, the anti-tracker district. Wow. Wow, that's just mean. I simply point out how unfortunate it is that Laura Reloaded's encounter with Bird of Prey led to him being, you know, stuck in a bed for the rest of his life, or at least for the next 10 years. And you want to commit mass murder. That's really nice. Class act there, DJ. Mercer Create says, hi, how you doing, Mercer? I am glad to see you. One of the worst parts of Interstellar. I don't remember that specifically. I really don't. I have no interest in Captain Marvel. I will let you know what I think tomorrow night. Hopefully it's not as bad as some people are making it out to be. Which, by the way, okay, let me get caught up. Then I got something I do want to talk about with these movie reviews. In fact, you know, let's see, isn't much of a but, so it could well be her. Yeah, that's true. So let me talk about this for just a moment, because there are a lot of people right now celebrating, and I mean celebrating, the fact that the reviews coming in on Captain Marvel are at best mixed. Now, I saw there was a video put out by The Quartering where he is literally just giddy and laughing about the fact that the reviews are not great. And, you know, and lots of people are doing this because there have been a lot of people that have been just rooting for this movie to fail. And by the way, that's the wrong attitude in my opinion. But I understand a lot of people don't like, you know, what the appearances are as far as Marvel trying to push an SJW agenda. Now, here's the thing. And don't worry, Shatner's Bassoon, by the way, very interesting username. Not sure where you came up with that. I'm still going to probably talk about Discovery tomorrow night if time permits. It depends on how in-depth we get into with Captain Marvel. But the plan is tomorrow, going to see the movie, start a live stream, talk about the movie for a few minutes, and then get into tomorrow night's Discovery. That's the plan. Anyway, so let's if we so all these people are being giddy and excited about the fact that the reviews are not stellar. Now, here's the problem, and this is why I really think that these people are not using their brains. Being serious here. These are the same people that have been going off for months now about the fact that the critics loved Ghostbusters 2016. That the critics loved oh gosh, what was the more recent feminist movie but they just love all these movies that throw or look at the Rotten Tomatoes score on Star Trek Discovery, the reviews of The Last Jedi, that these critics are so out of touch. They're constantly singing the praises of these agenda-driven projects, and then the audience sees them, and the audience gives it a crappy score, right? And that's actually been a big controversy about the Rotten Tomatoes scores. Like, why is it that the critic scores at 97% and the audience scores at like 30% and stuff like that, right? Now, you have a movie where the critics are mixed on it. If this movie is this horrible, horrible pillar of social justice, then why Wrinkle in Time? Thank you, that's one. But if this movie is this horrible, horrible pillar of social justice, then why the hell are critics not loving it? So if anything, people like The Quartering and other channels that have been going off about this stuff should be seeing the mixed reviews from critics as a positive sign. Because you know what? There's been movie after movie after movie that has gotten mixed reviews from the critics that I personally loved. And so I don't think that seeing this critic score is any proof of anything. And that's true. She did insult white 40-year-old critics. So maybe all the white 40-year-old critics are just they're that petty that because Brie Larson doesn't care about the opinions of a white 40-year-old, that's the reason the scores are bad. I don't know. That's a good point, though, Admiral. I will give you that. However, I think that simply celebrating that the reviews have been mixed means nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Now, I know we have one person here that has seen the movie and said, it was boring. Fair enough. However, there are people that will look at movies like Blade Runner and say, it was boring. Other people will look at Blade Runner and say, wow, that is a freaking awesome movie. It just depends. I don't know jack about, I don't care about the newer iteration of Captain Marvel in the comics. I've never read the newer iterations of Captain Marvel in the comics. I understand if Nerdrotic's still here. I understand how Marvel has been trying to push the Captain Marvel agenda in the comics. However, the MCU is clearly not the comics, and the MCU is done much better than the comics. So, but I am not going to simply assume that Captain Marvel is the worst movie of all time until I see it. All right, so Iron Wolf has a couple more pictures of Bree, and so we'll take a quick peek here. But yeah, I mean, obviously Bree is not, shall we say, curvaceous. That's pretty painfully obvious. And now this is kind of a hilarious picture to me, because there she looks like she's actually trying to show off her butt that she doesn't actually have. Although, at least, I'm guessing those pants, just looking at this picture, those pants look like they're padded. I think they are. Either that, she's wearing Depends underneath them. But yes, and there's the classic. Let's go. Oh, man. Yeah, Brie Larson, definitely not a curvy woman. And I'm sorry, I like curves on my women. And it's not because I'm some sexist pig. It's because I like women, as far as from the aesthetic, I like women to look like women. What's so wrong with that? All right? I think guys look best when they're muscular, when they look powerful. Women look best when they are curvier. And that's just the way that it goes. Peter's trying to send me not safe for work stuff on Discord. Let me see. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so let me see. What is there? Oh, is that from the same movie? But is that even her? I don't know. Ew. But again, I obviously not going to show that, because that is clearly some nudity that would get me in trouble. But anyway, I still think that Captain Marvel's Kevin Feige playing 4D chess so that he can get rid of extreme SJWs in the company. That would explain why he mostly stayed away. I could, Peter Quinn says, I look muscular, powerful, broad shoulders. I like my guys muscular, anti-turn. I'm saying, man, that's not how I said it. If you're going to quote me, at least quote me right. I said that men look best muscular. I didn't say I like my guys. No, I'm not into guys in that way. DJ Odyssey says, I like big butts and I cannot lie. No brother can deny. No other brother can deny. Yes. Yeah, so with Brie Larson, you need someone singing, I like flat butts, I'll tell you what. Don't give me no coconut. Because when a girl walks in with no curves on her waist and a flat thing in your face, I get wrecked. If you know what I mean, because that butt is lean. There you go. That's my version of the song. All right, so I will tell you this. The shills are like the first post-credits. The shills are like the first post-credit scene is so important, and it was not. I mean, it was the worst way to follow up the pager scene imaginable. Okay, well, I will see what it looks like. Dr. Alex says, Linda Carter is still my Wonder Woman for exactly that reason. Although Linda Carter doesn't have a butt either. Come on. She's got more upstairs, but, yeah. That's why I said not works. Well, yeah, I appreciate you telling me that, Peter, but I would have looked at the picture before I posted it on the channel anyway. But Linda Carter was definitely better looking than Brie Larson, that's for sure. That was a pretty good improv. Well, thank you, Darren. That's my freestyle for you. I hope Larson doesn't have the stupid resting bitch face through the whole movie. I kind of hope not too, but I've heard people say that she does. But I don't know. We'll see tomorrow night. the thing that bugs me though in the trailers is the vocal fry. I can't stand vocal fry. If she does that through the whole movie, I'm gonna cringe. Dr. Alex says, "Are you kidding, Anti-Trekker?" Am I kidding about what exactly? Oh, about Linda Carter. Well, I don't. Let's look up some Linda Carter Wonder Woman. All right, so Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. Now, again, I did say that she is definitely better looking than, say, Brie Larson. However, and the funny thing is, like, I'm looking for a good picture of Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, and almost every picture they show is her from the front. So, for example, here's a classic Linda Carter pose as Wonder Woman. Let's see. There's another, and you can see, like, she granted, it looks like the they're purposely kind of cinching in the waist a little bit to accentuate it, but, like, she obviously looks way better than Brie Larson. But I'm trying to see, do we have any pictures that actually show her from the back? Wow, there's like nothing here. I gotta be careful. Hopefully I got safe search on, because I don't want to accidentally show something inappropriate here. Let me turn this off, because if I put a word, let me see. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman from the back. Let's see if that. All right, so, okay. So here is Linda Carter's Wonder Woman from behind. Now, is that as flat as someone like Brie Larson? Heck no. Looks 100 times better than Brie Larson. But I think that, yeah, her hips are great, but I think she needs a little more plump in the rump, if you know what I mean. So make round out that backside a little bit, and that would make it much better. However, I am not arguing that Linda Carter, and of course Dr. Alex wants to throw his favorite picture, so here's the link that Dr. Alex threw at me. And so, but yeah, this is she obviously has curves, right? She clearly has curves. Linda Carter in this picture looks like a woman. Brie Larson looks like a 12-year-old boy. You're right. What we really need is a picture of her from the side to get a good feeling. And so I absolutely agree that Linda Carter is better looking. Here's a picture for you, Dr. Alex. There you go. She does not have much there. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Linda Carter is unattractive, but that is not her strong point, we'll just say. Let's see. From the side, let me see. We have any? When I search for pictures of her from the side, it doesn't really come up with anything, unfortunately. Just put Brie and Gal Gadot next to each other. Gal Gadot. Here's the thing: the difference between Brie Larson and Gal Gadot. Because Gal Gadot is a tiny woman, right? And so Gal Gadot is not particularly curvy. Here's a nice picture of Gal in a dress here. So Gal Gadot is not particularly curvy. However, what Gal Gadot has that Brie Larson does not is a freaking gorgeous face. All right? I'm sorry. That is a beautiful, beautiful face. And Gal Gadot, you're right, also looks like she is physically fit. And so, good point there, Dr. Alex. Now, I think that Gal Gadot should be... I honestly think that Gal Gadot, while I think that she's beautiful, I think that she played the part of Wonder Woman very well, I also think that she was miscast. Because Wonder Woman, at least from should be probably close to 6 feet tall, and also should be extremely curvaceous. So I mean, that's honestly what we should be looking at. So here's a little bit of a side. It's like a 3/4 side view. But yeah, and it's hard to see because I know that picture is kind of small. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger here. If we do a smart selection. All right. No, it's not going to let me capture the image. But the thing is that, yeah, Wonder Woman's supposed to be tall, curvy, and she's supposed to be a perfect female form. Commander Iron Wolf now wants me to check Discord now that we're talking all this horrible sexist talk about Wonder Woman. Okay, so he's got a little gif of Wonder Woman walking. And you can see here, Control Plus to zoom in the browser. I didn't even know that. Is that true? Well, actually, we're in Discord right now, so I can't do it there. But look at this. This image here of Wonder Woman walking is a great example. Her hips are very, very curvy, but the back of her butt is very flat. All right, and so she needs a little bit more bubble as far as I'm concerned. Now, granted, that's just my personal taste. I mean, honestly. Godot is 5'10". Yeah, I know she doesn't look as tall as she is, but I think, and she does have grace. You got that right. Go see Alita. I'm going Friday. I want to, but I'm I gotta see. Sorry, gotta go for an hour for welding class. Well, Darth, have fun welding. Never thought I would say that. That's kind of an odd thing to say, but have fun welding. Discord, a female superhero. Yes, that's going to be her name. So you're saying we need one of the snoo gals from Futurama to play Wonder Woman. Not quite that big, but yes. Remember, Wonder Woman is supposed to be a freaking Amazon. Not an Oompa Loompa. This is toxic masculinity. You're damn right it is, bird of prey. And that's the thing. I'm sorry. There is absolutely, first of all, there's nothing wrong with talking about what you think is attractive in a person, regardless if you're talking male or female, right? If you have women talking about, like, they like that V thing that guys that work out a lot get in their lower abdomen that I wish I had, but I have more of an O, so you have that's perfectly acceptable to talk about that. Now, you're talking about superficial things, but that's all right. China from WWE in her prime would be China from the WWE in her prime that's a great Wonder Woman type of body right there. I have a response for your Captain Marvel quartering. Take it will be on my live stream. Remember, it comes from a place of love. That's cool, Nerd. And you know what? You are perfectly entitled to disagree with me. But my problem with the quartering thing is not that, I understand he like a lot of people's fed up with the SJW agenda, and I get that, and I'm with him on that. However, I think that it's premature, some of the things that he's saying about the reviews. And he's being inconsistent with some of the things he said in the past. China is dead. I'm sad, but yes, that is true. Let's see. Also, hey, Ed Tracker, how are you and everyone else doing together? Hey, D Newton, not too bad. Good to see you. Now that you've come towards the end of the live stream, I love when people do that because why the hell not? I meant it was back from the wedding. Penny and the Big Bang Theory made a great Wonder Woman for a cosplay episode. I'm trying to remember. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what she looked like. Sonequa Martin Green would make an awesome Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel. Mercer. I have yet to see Sonequa Martin Green do anything that would convince me of that. And she's not curvy enough, in my opinion. She's got a pretty face, but she's, but I don't know, just not curvy enough. King Kong Bundy has died recently. I don't even know who that is. Is that a wrestler? I'm going to assume based on the name. The Bentalk says, just a heads up, you have a package coming tomorrow. Well, thank you. I did not know that, and I will make sure to check the old box in the next day or two. Actually, since me and Mrs. Ancheck are going to be seeing the movie tomorrow night, we'll check it tomorrow night. But she is Michael Burnham. Well, that's true. Michael Burnham is smarter and better than everyone. Well, okay. Yes, that is true. Sonequa Martin Greenwood made a great Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel. And this is the thing. Funny you should mention that, Darren. I'm really pissed that they're not using the Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel. She was because here's the thing. What has Marvel and Nerdrotic, you be sure to chime in if you disagree with me on this, but what has Marvel Studios done to make an incredibly successful, the most successful film franchise of all time? They have very carefully and very selectively recaptured Marvel Comics from the late 70s to early 80s and put it on screen. That's the era of Marvel Comics. Even though some of the stories that they're doing came later, the mood, the feel, the characters feel like they came right off the page from the late 70s to early 80s comics. All right, Marvel at their prime. Okay, Marvel at their prime had a Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. Monica Rambeau was an interesting character. She was not OP, and she was an interesting character. Now, if you had brought that Captain Marvel into the fray, not only would it feel, in my opinion, a little more natural with the era of Marvel Comics that they're kind of emulating in the films, but, who's going to, she's a black woman and a powerful black woman, and that way Marvel could actually claim on the agenda box that, hey, sure, DC got the first female superhero movie, but we got the first black female superhero movie. Why they didn't do it, I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, because Monica's a better character, more interesting power set, and not OP, so it wouldn't throw out the balance of the universe or anything like that. And yet and plus she's from the era that everybody else is pulled from. Why they didn't do that, I have no clue. I genuinely don't. I sent it to you in the address listed below. Hopefully that's A-okay. Also, you'll need it before your review of Star Trek Discovery of Captain Marvel. All right, but I will definitely, yes, the address that you see there is it's funny. It's a post office box, but you can send anything through it. So, to it in that, like if you put in P.O. Box 1775 or something, and you try to send something via FedEx or UPS, or some of the overseas shippers, they won't deliver to a P.O. box. However, that street address is basically just a street address for the P.O. box, so FedEx and UPS and stuff can deliver there, which I don't understand why, but that's the way it works. Captain Marvel isn't even that OP in the comics. Why she's getting pushed so hard is retarded. I don't know no name, except that, I know that, like, if you look at the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, for example, in, because Rogue, her powers came from the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, and she could fly, she had super strength, she was invulnerable, and so, but now, one thing that Rogue never did that I can think of was shoot energy beams. That seems to be something they added to her later on. But yeah, does Captain Marvel have ample nacelles? Well, depends on which version you're looking at. Now, the Monica Rambeau, I think definitely had some nacelles on her. Let me, and again, it depends. I know the different eras, but let's see. Monica Rambeau. And let me go back to, and the problem is we're seeing, okay, here's how she looked back in my day of reading comics. This is the Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel. This is the character I think they should have brought in. And this Captain Marvel had a very interesting, her entire power set was energy based. She was not super strong, but she could project energy, and she could actually transform herself into different forms of energy. And so that's how she, like, if you notice on those two panels on the side here, she actually turns into light and can therefore fly at the speed of light, which is kind of a cool idea. And so this, I think, would have been a much, much better character than what we're getting. Plus, look at her costume. It's kind of cool, and it's different than most of what you see in comic books these days. This is definitely a unique look for a superhero. This is something we have not seen on film. This is something that would have had people going, "Oh, cool." Right? So I think that this would have been so much better than Brie Larson, who is just your generic blonde. I'm sorry. Some people think that Brie Larson is like the most beautiful creature ever to watch. I'm sorry, she looks like generic blonde to me. There is nothing about Brie Larson that I think is particularly attractive. So, you know, there are attractive blondes out there, but Brie Larson is just not one of them. Not in my humble opinion. I mean, she's not ugly, but although she definitely needs to eat a few cheeseburgers, but she just looks very, she's just there. She could be a cross between an Orion slave girl and an Amazonian woman. Yeah, that's, well, Wonder Woman, I mean. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the, you know, yeah, Wonder Woman needs to be muscular, but very curvy and very tall. Captain Marvel time travel thing was a misdirection by Sam Jackson. Okay. You have to look up Miss Marvel Carol Danvers. All right, well, I never read Miss Marvel Carol Danvers, so let's take a look. Miss Marvel Carol Danvers. So there's a couple of different, let's see. So you're talking about now I have seen this costume before. I'm assuming that this is the costume you're referring to. And it's better than what we're seeing as far as the... And I know some people think, oh, that's sexist. She looks like she's wearing a bathing suit. So what? You know what? You know, you don't hear people complaining, you know, when Thor walks around without a shirt on. So, whatever. And so, yeah, that's... And it's not sexist for someone to be attractive. All right. What is sexist is to treat someone like that's all that matters, is that they are attractive. And that's something that Marvel has not done. Right. For example, Black Widow, sexy woman. Right. But is her character just about her looking good? No, not at all. All right. And you know, Scarlett Johansson is walking around in a skin-tight catsuit. It's not like that's not attractive. But at the same time, her character is what matters. And that's what's made Marvel great, is that they put these superheroes together and then they get the characters right. So, you know, that's... Look at athletes' clothes. Yeah, exactly. If you look at competitive athletes, they generally wear skin-tight clothes, and they try to expose as much skin as possible so they have the maximum amount of movement ability and freedom of movement. And as a superhero, if you're out there battling, not to mention the fact that Captain Marvel is freaking unbreakable skin level of invulnerability, so why would she need to wear body armor like she does in the movie? Just saying. Lore Reloaded, sexy women, I've seen the vids. Put on screen his actual look. I'm not sure who. What are you talking about, Hector? Whose actual look? You lost me. Brian says, "Hey, Anti-Checker, thanks for engaging us and reading our comments a lot. I notice many YouTube channels just reading super chats and talking to themselves. Your channel's different, feels more like a hangout." Well, thank you, Brian, and that's intentional. Because I don't see the lives. I mean, and by the way, I'm not the only one that does it. It's just that, for example, Nerdrotic, I don't know if you're still here, but Nerdrotic is a great guy. But when he does a live stream, because his channel is primarily known for live streams, when he does a live stream, he has like 500 people in the live stream. And when you get to that level, unfortunately, it makes it so that I'm sure that he's pulling his hair out. He can't read all the chats because there's just way too many of them. That's the problem. Competitive athletes clothing equals superhero clothing. You're very true. And in fact, true story. That's why the whole trope, especially that started in the 40s and 50s, was superheroes wearing underwear on the outside of their clothes, is because that's what strongmen used to do. If you look at strongmen from the circus days of the 1930s and 40s, that's how they dressed. Mercer says the chat is particularly nerdy today. D. Newton says, yeah, I'm usually lost with a lot of superhero talk. Not my fandom wheelhouse, but still fun to listen to. Well, you know, and that's the thing. I know that we talk about different things, and every live stream can be completely different. Mercer says, Campia only reads super chats. Yeah, the only way you're going to get Campia to say anything is to give him a super chat. When he first started his show, he used to do a thing where you could send him an email and he would pick random email questions. But then he got to the point, once super chat launched, then he just said, screw it. Unless you super chat me, I'm not saying anything. And I'm sorry. And I know, Admiral, you said Campy is a dick. I'm not going to say Campy is a dick, but in my opinion, it is a dick move to only be willing to read super chats, because what you're saying is your voice doesn't matter to me unless your voice includes cash. And I'm sorry, but that's not true. And I get, you know, I listen to live streams all the time, and there are times which, you know, if I was rich, I wish I could throw money at everybody. I would love to do that. However, I also know that realistically, I got bills to pay. And I know that you guys have bills to pay. And I don't expect you to sacrifice your food money or your rent money so that I can have a nice chunk of money and read your comment. Instead, you know, those of you that can give, do. And I love every one of you for doing it, because you have no idea what an impact you've made on my life, on Mrs. Antitrekker's life, on Joshua's life. It's so humbling to know that you guys care. And when you do give, it really means something. But when you don't, I know it's not because you don't want to. It's because, well, we don't always have money to give. Star Wars EU, sexy and strong female characters, unlike modern Star Wars where ugly and strong is the normal now. I don't think that Rey is ugly. I really don't. I think Daisy Ridley has a likable enough demeanor and everything. It's just that unfortunately Rey is horribly written. Let's see. I'm living on the bones of my flabby arse. Oh, so you're Brie Larson? Mahler put out part 2 of his The Force Awakens review. Uh-oh. It's over 2 hours long. Well, Mahler does not mess around. He likes doing long, epic videos, but he's known for it. I wish if I could do this full time, I'd be working on some reviews like that as well. But when I do get to full time, that's my goal, is to do like a big epic review like once a month, and then do shorter stuff the rest of them. I think that would be fun. No AI used a clothespin and towel to pretend to be... no AI, I used clothespins and paper towel and towels to pretend to be the greatest American hero. Was easier for me to run into things and fall over when I tried to fly. Yes, greatest American hero. In fact, it's funny. Me and Mrs. Antrecker have been watching Greatest American Hero on Amazon Prime, and we just watched the first couple of episodes, and that show needs a reboot so bad. That show could so work today. Sylvester Stallone wore a homemade Superman costume under his clothes as a kid. He got bullied for it by kids and his teacher. He's not getting bullied anymore. Now he's a freaking 70-year-old powerhouse that scares the crap out of people. Campier is too popular for Twitter. Campier? You mean Campia? I don't know. Mahler's voice is awesome. He does have a great voice. I wish I had a voice like that. You know, that's the thing. Here's what I want to do. I want to kidnap Dr. Alex, drag him here, and make him read my scripts, because then my channel would be huge, because Dr. Alex has an incredible voice. So if I could get away with that, Dr. Alex, I would in fact do that. I would kidnap you and make you read my scripts, and I would have the English turd. We should do something like that. A 5 foot tall powerhouse. Yes, I tell you, Sylvester Stallone, what a guy. And I mean, if you look at his career, it's incredible. How did the interview with Trek Yards go? It was a lot of fun. We had 2 distinct discussions, and we talked about the evolution of the Romulan ships. And what was the other one? We talked about the ridiculous turbo lift in Discovery. And so I can't wait till they come out. It was a lot of fun. You could use Doomcock's voice changer. Yeah, but Doomcock's voice changer isn't enough to make you sound like Dr. Alex. Dr. Alex has just got like a perfect voice. I hate him for it. Daisy Ridley just sounds like someone who fell out of acting school after strolling through some cushy private, probably girls' school previously. Her acres of experience really shine. I'm just saying, I think that her face and her personality are decent, but the writing in fact, I enjoyed The Force Awakens up until they escape on the Millennium Falcon and all of a sudden she can do everything. That's what really pissed me off. I saw a Far Side comic where a psychiatrist was listening to a patient on the couch and he writes in his notes, "Just plain nuts." I remember that. Yes. Eric says, "Look at my other post, please." All right, let me go back, Eric. That's not you. There it is. They went with the Marvel Comics SJW era costume for Captain Marvel. Brie physically is incapable of pulling off the Miss Marvel look. Oh, yeah. The Miss Marvel look, Brie is definitely not capable of pulling off because she was built like a woman. But I still think that Monica Rambeau would have been a better choice. Hey, Entrekker, speaking of Trek Yards, are they sending out the Borg Queen conversation soon? I don't know. I keep forgetting to ask Commander Calkins about it, because Commander Calkins and I have actually talked a little bit about doing a interview with Commander Calkins on my channel, having to do with his Star Trek fan film. By the way, it's funny because here's another, let me see if I can find a better image of this, because it's funny. It's a comic book I actually have in my collection. And let's see, is that, I don't know what, yeah, from, that's 19. Trying to find a nice big picture of it. There we go. So, yes, this is a comic book that I actually have. Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, #1. I only have it because I saw it at the comic book store. It was the first issue, and it was cheap, so I grabbed it. But look at that costume. Imagine if they tried to put her in that. Brie Larson would look horrible in that. I'm sorry, she would. Let's see. Hey, my chat's messing up here. Wow, that's really weird. Health and safety would shut down Discovery's turbo lift. Absolutely. Entrekker, when will the rest of Entrekkers versus Samuel Borg talk? I don't know. Are there coming more Borg videos? Yes. I'm so sorry I've been so far behind. My next video is going to kind of explain why I've been so far behind, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff in the next few days. And I am truly sorry that I have been so... It's been a struggle for me. It truly has. Oh, what? That was a turbo lift shaft? I thought it was the inside of Wonka's chocolate factory. Yeah, no kidding. And Dr. Alex says, yes, when she starts flipping the Falcon all over the place was when I signed out of The Force Awakens. But it was only 1/3 or even only a quarter of the way into the train wreck. It rapidly spiraled from there. Well, and the thing is that there were good things and bad things beyond that point. But at that point, Rey's character went from fun, interesting to Mary Sue. And that was really the downfall of that movie. That's my favorite Carol Danvers costume, the original Miss Marvel costume. Well, yes. Well, unfortunately, you're never going to see that because it's sexist, because it's girly. I want to do my Far Side YouTube channel, but my voice is awful. Stop saying that, Mercer. Nobody's voice is awful. People, I mean, heck, you know what? Yeah, people just have different voices. And so there's nothing wrong with that. You've had a hectic year. That is an understatement, Mercer. That is definitely an understatement. Marlena says, spit on Anti-Trekker? Why are you spitting on me? What did I do to you? Oh, spot on Anti-Trekker. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's like, whoa. Boy, Marlena, that was a bad spelling correction. Well, we have Discovery to discuss, so the Borg videos can wait. Well, now, I do want to get back into the Borg series and this SG-1 series and all the stuff, and I feel horrible about not getting it out. And like I said, my next video that I'm putting out is going to kind of be, in a way, an apology, but also a commentary about what's been going on for me. And then I'm going to try to force myself into this because I'm so far behind, and I feel horrible. Hey, Eddie Checker, any thoughts on the Shazam movie? Looks like a made-for-TV WB special. Who knows? Maybe it'll be good, but looking at the trailers, honestly, it looks like a complete train wreck to me. I'm hoping it's not, but that's what it looks like for me. Lady Hawk was great, but the score made it unwatchable for me. I don't think I ever saw Lady Hawk. Enter, I actually figured out a really good way to explain Ray's abilities. She was channeling her mother's Force ghost instead of being Mary Sue, but it seems I'm a better writer than JJ. Well, yeah. In the mirror universe, that's a sign of affection to spit on people? Okay, I didn't know that. So, okay, Marlena, I guess you can spit on me. That's kind of gross, but okay. If the Borg show up tomorrow, you can do both. Oh, don't even go there. I don't think we're going to see the Borg in Discovery until season 3, though. At least Shazam looks like fun. It looks like it could be fun. I will give you that. But it also looks like that nobody was really trying. Strange Days had strong feeling. Strange Days is a fun movie. I like Strange Days a lot. And so, Angela Bassett is a complete badass. And you know, she was originally going to be cast as Storm in the X-Men movies. And then they did a pass on her and went for Halle Berry because Halle Berry was a hot topic at the time. Angela Bassett would have been 100 times better as Storm than Halle Berry. The Disco Borg Queen versus the Disco Tholians. Ugh. Now you're hurting me. Shazam trailer reminded me of Hancock, especially that second trailer that came out this week. I'll tell you, that's actually, it's like Hancock for kids. That's what Shazam looks like. Lady Hawk was filmed by Richard Donner and looked beautiful and was scored on a Casio and sounded well. Yeah. Shazam looked like fun, but formulaic fun. Like you'll have a mild grin during the whole movie, but it won't be particularly memorable. I could see that, Bentox, but yeah. I never thought much of Halle Berry, but she was awesome. Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Halle Berry's not a good actress. She's done, I mean, if you have not seen Monsters Ball, holy crap, was she good in Monsters Ball. But the Angela Bassett is just a much better fit for a character like Storm. And I don't know why yeah. And Hector spits on me. Wow. Now that's just a thing. Marlena told me to. Wow. Marlena, I think you started a thing. Great. All right, so I do need to sign off because I gotta get ready for work now that everybody's gonna be spitting at me from now on. What a bunch of jerks. So thank you all for hanging out with me. Dr. Alex, watch your back because one of these days I am going to kidnap you and start forcing you to read my scripts because why not? Yeah, that'll work. See, the timing would have been great if it had just cut out there instead of waiting forever for the stupid credits to start.
I have got something better.
And Darth Kilhoun's like, nope, you ain't done yet. Wants to see number 4. You got it, my friend. Good old that. And so while this one was not written by Mrs. Anti-Checker, this is the first super chat to feature Mrs. Anti-Checker. So here it comes. Oh yeah. Yes. And by the way, Pam Grier as Storm, only if you were making the movies in the 70s. I mean, you know, you got to be real here. I don't think Pam Grier would have been a bad choice if you were making X-Men movies back in the 1970s. But we're talking about movies that were made in the early 2000s. And so, you know, when Halle Berry and Angela Bassett were at their prime. And I think that Angela Bassett was the perfect choice. Halle Berry was the safe choice, and Fox went with the safe choice. Because Halle Berry at the time had just come off of an Academy Award win, and yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Pam Grier didn't look good later on, DJ, but the thing is that if you wanted a, because here's the thing, when they launched X-Men in 2000, they weren't thinking this is going to be one movie. They were thinking this is going to be a franchise. So you can't honestly, you have to be careful about casting people who are on the edge of their peak. So, yeah. And so let's see. On the subject of dumbing, I've been used before. Oh, I'll check that out when I get a chance here. For those interested, I am aiming to stream around 6 p.m. tonight. Can't do much earlier due to a doctor's appointment. Well, you jerk, Bird. See, that's right when I go to lunch. And when I go to lunch, I hang out with Mrs. Antitracker for an hour. So I can't watch when you go at 6. You need to go earlier than that. Angela Bassett and Pam Grier are both older actors. I don't think Angela Bassett is... Well, let's see. So Pam Grier was born in 1949. So she's 69. Let's see. Angela Bassett was born in 1958. She is 60. So she is 9 years younger. And then let's look at... And Halle Berry was born in 1966. She's 52. So she's 8 years younger than Angela Bassett. So they went for the youngest of the three, but I still think that Angela would have been a better choice. So don't forget to check out Bird of Prey stream at 6 o'clock Eastern. And so that you can make sure to have him say lots of Alexa stuff, since I won't be there. And you could stream while you're in your appointment where you wouldn't want to see it. Well, that would be fun, though. We could make some super chats out of that. I think that could definitely work. So Whoopi Goldberg, but I wouldn't want to see her as Storm, although seeing her in the Uncanny X-Men outfit would be wrong, I think. That's the word you're looking for, is wrong. Speaking of wrong...
Sing it! Sing it! Sing it!
Oh, that didn't work.
And sing it! Sing it! Sing it! My, this here Anakin guy. Sing it! Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry. Sing it! And left his home and kissed his mama goodbye. Sing it! Saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi.